Hey, Richmond, how are you? There is a new show today.
Dan, look, I hate to do it, buddy, but I got to cut you off. It's Dive Bar Friday around here now. We got to talk to my boy Richmond. Huge news today. My boy's back in the semifinalist, back-to-back years, but we ain't done. We're going for the big one. We're going for the gold jacket, and my man deserves it. How we feeling, Richmond?
Hi, everyone. Hey, back again, and I'm excited because I get to find out who's the guest fan is for this week. So thanks again for joining us. Look forward to finding out some interesting facts about the fan and just discussing and having a good time. And I'm glad you're here to join us again. So let's get to it. Bobby, how you doing, man? It's such a blessing to have you on the show. Normally, I'm the one that has to cut him off, stop him, and all that. But man, I just love you. You just came and smacked him upside the head, treated him like he was almost like a Buffalo Bill or a Patriot or something, and
Yes,
just took
sir.
over the show. And I love the dive bar, man. We had a great time last week and chopping it up with all you guys. But I'm doing good, and it's Thanksgiving, so looking forward to that. But how's the family? Everybody good?
Yeah, everybody's good, man. You hit it, man. Thanksgiving. Us big boys looking forward to that. That's always on the calendar, right?
All right, give me some elbow room, brother. Yeah, don't get up on me. Yeah, I gotta hide some groceries this week, and it's always a lot of good food. I just gotta pace myself because it's a lot of football and all that. So I love watching all that, and I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's a good start. Let's break the ice right there. What is your favorite dish, and what do you think is something that's overrated?
For me, favorite dish has got to be probably turkey and dressing. I love the cornbread. Some people say stuffing. I call it cornbread dressing, this and that. That is, man, that's my go-to. Like a good ham. Probably maybe overrated is sometimes I can do without the green beans. I can do without that, but like the yams, I guess I got a sweet tooth, man. That stuff there is hard to pass up. And then anything on the dessert side of it is a plus. It's just normally I have to take a break because after I eat all that, I got to take a break and then let that settle and then go back for dessert. But I probably say maybe green beans or something like maybe like a carrot souffle. That's okay, but that'd probably be the ones that I could kind of scratch off the list if I had to think about it. What about you?
Yeah, you're right about the rounds. There's definitely rounds. So like I'll attack the proteins and then I'll go for some carbs. And then you right, take a little break on the recliner, watch a little football, go back, hit those desserts. But it's funny, you actually answered this perfectly because my favorite dish probably, a honey baked ham got to be up there.
Mm,
But also, you're not gonna like this one, but I've always just loved it. When it comes to Thanksgiving, I don't eat it any but Thanksgiving. But dude, for me, green bean casserole is up there. I
now
love green bean casserole.
yeah. Casserole is different than just regular green beans. So yeah,
Yes.
I agree. I agree with you on that. Yeah, I was talking regular. That wasn't no. That
Okay.
wasn't,
Okay.
yeah. It is a little different. So on this show, Bible, we have fun and talk about it. So since you're a guest, I know you're a huge Dolphin fan, but kind of give your backstory, how you became a Dolphin fan, this and that, and what triggered all that and this and that. So we always love talk, or at least love talking about it and getting the history and learning about that.
All right. Yeah, I got a pretty unique segue into being a Dolphins fan, I guess. Born and raised in King, North Carolina, which is a small town in North Carolina, probably population of about 7,500.
Okay.
Crazy enough, the Little League Pop Warner football team was the King Dolphins. We wore exact replica uniforms as the Miami Dolphins. And so in my, 5-year-old head, I thought like it all correlated. Like, one day you're playing flag football, then you're playing Pee Wee. Now you're playing Richmond Webb. You know what I mean? So that's not how it works, unfortunately. That's not how it works at all. My dad was also a big Dolphins fan. Obviously Moreno, the old heads, that's the only answer you get, right? It's like, yeah, Dan the man, boy, that boy's different. So my dad was a big Dolphins fan, and then I played for the Dolphins. So really, it's all I ever seen. So that's how it was. It stuck forever. I don't know if it was a gift or a curse, but I'm here, baby.
Well, and like you said, growing up in Carolina at that team, they probably didn't have a professional franchise because the Panthers came along later. So, like you said, the Dolphins, you had Atlanta, you had the Redskins, you had Indiana. It was a couple of but that's pretty cool that the little league team was the Dolphins and this and that. And I think a lot of times that indoctrinate kids because they say, well, I played for them, and you kind of gravitate to that team, and then you just kind of follow, especially when it's a professional team with the same mascot and all that. So
Yep.
that's pretty good. So are you still in North Carolina, or where are you currently living at now, Bobby?
Yeah, the wife drugged me to the bayou, so I'm in South Louisiana. I'm actually pretty close to you, Richmond. I ain't complaining. It's not bad down here for a big guy. You know what I mean? There's good food, gumbo, jambalaya, crawfish. You know, I've adapted pretty well in the 8 years I've been here. So yeah, I'm down here in Lafayette.
Okay, yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of people don't know, man. And what I had to find out is when you're down like on I-10, it's like Louisiana is a small state, but the north and the south is totally the cooking and stuff. It's probably, but it's man, you're in a sweet spot when you said Lafayette, because from Lafayette on down through all them little small towns, it's hard to find a place that you can't find good food. That's been my experience.
Unfortunately, that's been my experience too.
So that's pretty good. So yeah, this week, all right, we had the bye week. We got the Saints coming up, which is right down the road from Lafayette. You go through Baton Rouge, hook that right, and then you head on into New Orleans. So, what do you think? You think we had a good shot this week, or what's your feeling going into Sunday against the Saints?
Yeah, I think on paper, and I could be getting ahead of myself, but I think we're back on track, finally being the team we thought we had this year. Saints are playing better ball. They are playing better ball than they were at the beginning of the season as well. But I think that's got to be a win, right? Like, when you look at it on paper, our talent far superior. The Saints kind of in a weird like tweener phase where they got a young quarterback. They kind of got some holes. Alvin Kamara is now injured. That's a big loss. Good news for us, but hate to hear anybody hurt. But Alvin Kamara is a problem, and not to have to worry about him and now just focus on that rookie quarterback. Kind of reminds me of last time we played the Saints on Monday night when Ian Book got thrown into the lineup. We had like 8 sacks that night. It was insane. Waddle broke the single season reception record that night as well as a rookie. So that was cool. Yeah, I like our chances against the Saints this weekend for sure.
I think I asked the right question because deja vu sounds pretty good to me right there. And like you said, I agree with you, Bob. I don't wish injuries on anybody. And I remember Kamara when he was at Tennessee. He came down there and put some pain on my Aggies, and then turned out to be a great player in the NFL. And it's not just running the football, but catching the football out the back. It's a lot of production. So you're right. And then having a rookie quarterback and losing that high caliber type of player, it puts an onus on him and a lot of pressure. So hopefully our defense go down there and put some pressure on him and force him to make some young mistakes and this and that. And then we capitalize on it. And that'll be week 3, third week that we get a win. And that's what I believe as well too. I think it seemed like the last couple of weeks we've kind of getting back on stride where we thought we should have been at the beginning of the season. And man, it'll be actually good if we get that third win. So I think that's very important. But I'm trying to think. Do you got any questions for me before we get out of here? Because this is just a little quick hitter. This and that. I know it's Thanksgiving. I know people want to watch their shows and stuff like that. But did you have any questions for me, Bobby, before we get out of here?
Yeah, so we touched on it earlier. You came on our show like 5 days ago. So like after the show, we asked a lot of fan questions during the show, but I had a question afterwards. So I do want to ask it for them. How long did it take you? And you hear this a lot with rookies and young guys. Obviously, you came in and had immediate success, at least on the surface, it seemed. How long did it really take you to adjust to the speed of the NFL? And can you recall that transition?
Yeah. I would probably say one of the things that I definitely benefited from was the way training camp was then versus it is now. I think maybe they're in pads, maybe 2 weeks, if that. They only do 1 a days. We did 2 a days, and we did that for like 6 weeks. So I got a ton of more reps. The other thing I did was I came down in the summer, like a month before we started training camp, and my offensive line coach, John Sandusky, worked with me on the 2-point stance and just taking sets from a up stance, because we ran the option. I didn't take very much 2-point stance. We didn't throw the ball as much. We ran the ball. So that played a tremendous help. And then you go through preseason, you play against the starters, but not a lot. So you get a taste of that. So definitely Richard Dent, Chris Dolman, Simon Fletcher, and Carl Mecklenburg, and then playing against Clyde Simmons. Got a little taste of them, and I was like, okay. And then I think by like the third or fourth regular season game, I think things started to come together, because you're really feeling your way out, because now you're playing against the starters. They're playing, during preseason is very vanilla. And what I mean by that, people don't show all their defensive schemes, how they're gonna do this, so it took me probably about 4 or 5 games, and then I think I settled in. So I was just out there trying to do the best I can, and then you kind of catch up to it. So I probably say 4 or 5 games into my rookie year, it started to come together, and then I hit a rhythm.
Yeah, and probably the competition you faced probably helped speed that up a lot. You had to really learn trial and error on the run. My next question would be, what was the most hostile environment you played in the NFL? What really brings it back for you?
I would say probably the most hostile would probably be Buffalo. It would always get loud up there. They hated the Dolphins, and New England was different. It's hostile, but it's different. It was like you can be out there warming up, and they would crack jokes on you. Like they may say, "Hey, Webb, you need to lay off the cheeseburgers or something." It's just something to get. And I couldn't do nothing but laugh, but it wasn't like um, it wasn't like it wasn't really personal. Just engaging, just somebody just jaw jacking with you a little bit,
right?
And that was in the AFC East. But I think the only place, and this was later on, we played the Raiders in Oakland. And man, those guys with gothic paint and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say the little ledge or whatever they were sitting on. There was a couple of guys sitting behind our bench, and I'm telling you, they was really like, going at us. I kind of wonder. I said, man, I hope these guys don't come over that ledge. But that was the only time I really questioned. I said, Oakland is different, bro. I'm telling you, them dudes up there, they're a little different, but they was diehard Raiders. But Buffalo was pretty hostile. If you win up there, I remember times where we would win, not often, but we would win up there, and they would throw snowballs at the bus. They would moon you on the way out. Like, man, okay, but yeah, that's the rivalry. But I'd probably say Buffalo overall.
Yeah, you make a good point too. I feel like Oakland lost that edge a little bit when they moved to Vegas. They used to have, I forget what it was, the deep end, or like the I forget, there was it was called something, the end zone area with all those crazy people with the face paint. Like they kind of lost that edge. It kind of was like their culture, it really fit the Raiders persona. And I feel like moving to Vegas kind of took that away.
It was different, Bobby, and I never played, because they moved to LA in the Coliseum, but I never played in the Coliseum. And so when we went out there, and I think Jimmy Johnson was the head coach, I was like, it kind of reminded me not so much as the Orange Bowl, but I never played in the Orange Bowl. We always would go down there and scrimmage. But what I loved about the Orange Bowl, and I seen the advantage, the field was the fans were a lot closer to the field. So when it gets loud, I remember University of Miami would play games there, and they would be loud but the Orange Bowl was a lot closer, where when they built Joe Robbie, the newest stadium, they're building them wider to where it get loud, but I'm telling you, it was almost like you could look at somebody and your mouth be moving, and it was like you was muted. It was definitely, I think, advantage in the older stadiums than what we have currently.
Yeah, so it was the black hole. The black hole is what the end zone was called. And I remember, man, it was like you loved watching it on TV because it was so crazy. The shoulder pads with the spikes and the black and silver stripes on the face. Those guys were just crazy. All right, last question. Obviously, you're known for your legendary career, your run against elite pass rushers, Bruce Smith obviously being the big one. But as you head to this hopeful Hall of Fame nominee, well-deserving, obviously, we're all rooting for you. let's talk about what was your favorite memory in a Dolphins uniform that people might not know about. You know, obviously they know the accolades, they know the Pro Bowls, the All Pros, all that stuff. What's something that Richmond the human would want people to know that you just really enjoyed about being a Dolphin?
You know what? I think I had some of the best teammates um, at my time when I was at the Dolphins, from when Coach Shula to I was a young guy, and then when Jim got there, I was one of the older guys. So I was able to make the transition to looking up to some of the older guys that came before me. To when they got there, some of the younger guys came in after me. They kind of gravitated to me and looked up. But I think the thing that I really miss, and a lot of people ask, they say, "Do you miss playing? Do you do this and that?" And I'm like, I don't necessarily miss playing, but I miss being in the locker room, coming there in there in the mornings, and it might just be your day that you finna get cracked on. You walk in there, and the defensive line group, man, they was brutal. I would go over there and just hang out with them sometime because those were some of the funniest guys on the team, and they would crack jokes on each other, and every now and then they catch somebody and single them out, and we just had real good times. The fellowship, that's what I miss. So a lot of time I see my old teammates, I go back for alumni weekend or for a game or whatever when we catch up. That's the point that I truly miss, is just being in the locker room with the guys. That's priceless right there.
Yeah, and you say that, and I'm thinking back to like playing football. It's like, obviously you can't play football forever. The body just doesn't allow it. That's why it's so special, right? But you think back to like what you truly miss, and it's not really like the middle of a game when you were housing a run. It's really the locker rooms, towel whips, on that bus ride, man. You remember those bus rides in high school, dude? You go out to Pizza Hut and get you a pregame meal, and y'all got to drive 45 minutes across the county. And man, you're just out back there doing stuff you've never dreamed of. And it's stuff that is so stupid at the time, but it's like, I miss that, man. I'd love a good bus ride to the across county right about now with your boys. You know, you don't get that. You can't.
It doesn't change, Bobby. And it doesn't change. It doesn't matter whether you're high school, college. It's just you're older when it happens, but it's the same thing. Guys get to clowning and all that, and it's always a couple guys that's real funny that can just get everybody going. That's what I miss. Yeah, I miss that. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, incredible. Well, Richmond, it was an absolute honor to speak to you again. We're gonna do it again for sure when this thing happens, because it's gonna happen, right? We're gonna talk it into existence. Okay. Big believer in that. Awesome conversation, man. The whole fan base is behind you. You know that. Already this morning, it got announced, and I've seen you just plucking away. Thank you, man. I know you were raised right, because I even when I met you, you were on the couch. You didn't have to get up. You stood up, you shook my hand, you talked to me, asked about where I was from, how's my family. You sat down, here comes my dad around the corner, back up off the couch, shook his hand, looked him in the eyes, took the time to talk. So you could tell when somebody was raised right. In Richmond, you got it in you, man. Gentle giant. You obviously deserve this. No one deserves it more. We're all rooting for you. And it was great to talk to you again, man. Congratulations.
I appreciate you, Bobby. And maybe we can get Dan to wake up and come back in here, man. I appreciate your help with him, because he's a handful, and it's not just 1 week. Every week, I got to try to bring him down. You know, I don't know if he needs medication or whatever, but it ain't no in between with Dan. He's either way up here or he's down here. So, yeah, that's the fun thing. But he'll probably pop back in here in a second. I don't know where he is, but.
I think he definitely needs medication, but I think the only cure is a Hall of Fame nominee. I believe that's seems to be the mission there.
I mean, if you give me that, and the Dolphins going to the playoff, which is far from a reality, if you're talking now, if I have to pick one of those, I will pick Richmond Webb. You know what? Because it's still the history of the Miami Dolphins, and we have so many more years to enjoy about the Miami Dolphins. But Richmond has just 2 years eligibility as a modern era player. If you fall into the senior group, sadly, you, Bobby, me, and probably every person living there will not be there to watch when he will be inducted as a senior, because it will take 50 to 70 years to make that happen. So that's why sorry for everybody who loves the Miami Dolphins, but I take that because it just have 2 years to make that happen. So, hey, thank you, Bobby. It has been a pleasure. You know, we create this moment because we want to prove that not just Richmond is a heck of a great player. It's an unbelievable great human being, because he takes every week. It's time to talk with a fan. He talked with you today. He talked with Hugo in Spain last week, and we're traveling entire the world because he wants just to share any Dolphin story. And I think it's unbelievable. So thank you, Bobby, to take your time. Thank you, Bobby, to cut me and take over. But you know what? I support you guys in the Dive Bar podcast. I'm support any podcast, because you know what? The Miami Dolphins community is by far the best in the world. And that will be my final word.
Facts.
The Dolphins fan base runs deep. And you make a good point. I'll ride with you on that. Legacy. Richmond has a couple years to form his legacy and get what he deserves. Dolphins will play many more football games. You know, it's not our fault they fumbled the bag the first half of the season. So if I had to pick one, I'm rolling with the Hall of Fame jacket as well.
I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate actually both you, and I appreciate the support from the fan base by just, you know, the way they're so active and the way they, you know, they've created a voice for me on social media, not just Twitter, Facebook, you know, all of them. They hit it and it's consistent. And I think that has paid huge dividends. And so the least I can do is, you know, interact and tell people thank you, because you don't have to do it, but you do take time to do it, and I appreciate it. So Dan, we gotta slide down through Louisiana, my man, down where all the good food at. So
you make me cry. It's so emotional.
I told you, Bobby. I told you he ain't nowhere in the middle. He always on top or bottom. I'm telling you.
I mean, if we don't have fun.
Hey, to go this hard about something and believe in it and keep showing up like he does, he truly supports your mission. You got to be a little crazy, right? All of us got to be a little crazy, keep showing up.
I can guarantee you, working by night, entire night, because I have a work and day on Richmond tape to prove that he was a heck of a great player. To bring that to the Hall of Fame, you have to be crazy, yeah, for sure.
And Richmond, it really is cool to see, like, one, how the fan base, like, you thought we woke up to a win this morning when they announced that you weren't semifinalists again. I mean, it's everywhere, right? Also, I think it's cool as a fan, and you've probably heard this a million times, but to experience it, we feel like we're a part of it with you. The way you interact with everyone, the way you comment under things, you appreciate everyone, you include everyone, you take time to talk to everyone. It really makes you feel like you're more part of it. You know, not every day can you reach out, not physically, luckily for you, Richmond, touch a Hall of Famer, but, you know, feel like you are a part of it and kind of help steering the ship a little bit. It's awesome, man. So it really helps people to stay behind that.
Here we go. That's the final word, man. What you have to say, Richmond? Not cry, please.
No.
We are grown men.
I just
save the tears.
I just say thank you, but you know, I think what the fans realize is they feel a void for me since I'm no longer playing. So I interact with them since I can't be in the locker room anymore. So I kind of created my own locker room, and even watching with the fans on Sunday, watching Dolphin games. I mean, that I need that. I need somebody to talk to it that can understand, because we're rooting for the same team. You know, they frustrated, I get frustrated, but we keep each other from not going off the ledge and this and that. And then just, you know, we get to support the team we love. So anytime you can do that, that's why I call them family. And I mean that, you know, if you ride with us, we family, and that's how I treat people. Hey, great show again. I'm glad you got an opportunity to tune in. If you don't mind, we appreciate the comments. We're trying to do better. If it's some suggestions you would like to make, we're always open to them. But any critiques or whatever, how we can improve the show, we welcome those. And if we can make it happen for you guys, we will. But thanks for always tuning in with us. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next week.